Karen demanded I get rid of my golden retriever Max, claiming he was a public nuisance. She spread lies, filed complaints, and called in the HOA to back her up. But what she didn't know, I had proof of her harassment. And a plan. When animal control showed up, the tables turned in a way Karen never expected. But let's start at the beginning. It was a quiet afternoon when I received the knock on my door. Karen, the neighbor I had only exchanged pleasantries with before, stood there, arms crossed, a smug smile on her face. "Your dog," she started, "needs to be evicted." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. My golden retriever Max had never caused any problems. But according to Karen, his barking at squirrels and playful energy was apparently too much for her. She claimed that Max's presence in the yard violated some unwritten neighborhood rule, despite no official complaints or issues from anyone else. Her tone was cold, dismissive. She acted like she was in charge of the entire block. I stared at her, stunned. "Karen, my dog is harmless. What's your problem?" "I've had enough of that dog disturbing the peace," she said, not even trying to hide her frustration. "If you don't get rid of him, I'll call animal control." I wanted to argue, but I knew Karen well enough to realize she wouldn't be swayed. Her sense of entitlement was unshakable, but I wasn't going to let her walk all over me. I spent the next few days researching my rights. It became clear that Karen's power trip had no legal foundation. Max was well behaved, and we had every right to keep him. I started documenting her behavior. Screenshots of her threatening messages, notes from neighbors who had witnessed her overbearing attitude, and a timeline of events. Then I learned that Karen had made multiple complaints about my dog to our HOA, despite there being no formal complaints or legal grounds to act on. I knew I had to take action. I called animal control myself to get a second opinion on her baseless claims. Animal control confirmed that Max had done nothing wrong. But what Karen didn't know was that I had filed a complaint against her behavior as well. I was not going to let her get away with bullying me. A week later, I got the phone call. Animal control was coming to my house for a formal visit. When Karen heard the news, she seemed to think I had gone too far. She confronted me outside my house, her eyes filled with a mix of fury and disbelief. "This is ridiculous! You've overstepped!" she yelled. "You're going to regret this!" When animal control arrived, Karen looked like she'd seen a ghost. They inspected my yard and confirmed that Max's behavior was perfectly fine. Then they turned their attention to Karen. It turned out that she had a history of complaints against other neighbors as well, and they were taking her more seriously than she realized. The tables had turned. Karen wasn't just embarrassed, she was facing consequences. Animal control left, and I was left feeling triumphant. But the story didn't end there. I got in touch with the HOA, who had backed Karen's complaints without question. Once they saw the documentation I'd gathered, not just about Max, but about Karen's harassment and manipulation, they backed off, apologizing for any involvement. As for Karen, she never expected me to fight back. The intimidation tactics she used against me only served to show her true colors. Max and I kept living our lives, free from the unnecessary stress Karen tried to inflict. Karen, on the other hand, learned that she couldn't control everyone in the neighborhood. The victory was sweet, and it felt good to know that sometimes standing up for yourself is all it takes to put an arrogant bully in their place.